Today's First Take Lakers update is absolutely packed with breaking news that could change the entire landscape of the team's roster. We're talking major trade rumors, key signings that seem just around the corner, and a couple of high-upside players who could become game-changers off the bench. If you want to stay ahead of every twist and turn in this crazy Lakers offseason, you don't want to miss a second of this video. Trust me, it's all coming together fast. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. We're on the road to 20,000 subscribers, and I want you with us every step of the way. Now, let's break down everything you need to know about the Lakers right now, starting with some huge trade chatter that's just surfaced. Stay tuned. On this morning's First Take, a major topic of conversation was a breaking update out of Los Angeles that could reshape the Lakers' off-season strategy. The panel dove into a fresh report detailing Rob Pelinka's evolving trade blueprint, including intriguing targets and potential multi-team maneuvers involving the Lakers. One of the anchors kicked things off by referencing a newly surfaced report that, despite flying under the radar due to the team's pursuit of DeAnthony Melton, might hold serious weight. According to insider Anthony Irwin, the Lakers are now being linked to a potential sign-and-trade scenario involving Cam Whitmore, a former top prospect currently with the Houston Rockets, and Dorian Finney-Smith. As discussed on the show, Whitmore is reportedly seeking a bigger role than what he's expected to receive on Houston's crowded roster, and the Rockets are believed to be open to shedding salary, especially if it means facilitating the massive Kevin Durant trade still pending finalization. Whitmore, viewed as an athletic wing with upside, has now emerged as a legitimate trade chip as Houston works to finalize its new rotation. The First Take analysts were quick to point out that while the full Kevin Durant deal hasn't been completed, there's heavy buzz around a possible 7-team trade that could bring Dorian Finney-Smith to Phoenix or Houston, depending on final negotiation. One host noted that even if the Lakers aren't directly involved in the KD deal, their interest in Whitmore appears genuine and could be pursued via alternative pathways. They then shifted to evaluating the Lakers' current needs. With Jackson Hayes re-signed and DeAndre Ayton and Maxi Kleber already on the roster, the center position seems to be covered. But what the Lakers are still missing, according to the show, is a dynamic 3-and-D wing and bench scoring. Exactly the kind of skill set Cam Whitmore brings to the table. A Rockets beat reporter also chimed in via quoted segment, noting that Houston is currently hard-capped at $195, $6 million, and even after waiving Jock Landale, they're still projected to be slightly over the limit. That financial squeeze is part of what's driving the Whitmore trade chatter. With so many wings already competing for minutes, Kevin Durant, Dorian Finney-Smith, Jabari Smith Jr., Tari Eason, and others, Whitmore has found himself buried on the depth chart despite his talent. The First Take crew debated the implications of this. One analyst pointed out that Whitmore, while still raw, is a highly productive player when given the opportunity. And with his current role so limited in Houston, a move to Los Angeles could be a win-win. He'd enter a rotation that desperately needs young legs and athleticism, and he'd have the opportunity to carve out a meaningful role off the bench. The report cited on the show presented two possible paths for Houston. Either they look to move Whitmore purely to trim salary, or they use him as a piece in a larger trade, potentially expanding the KD deal to include Finney-Smith. Either way, his name is clearly on the table, and the Lakers seem ready to make a move if the numbers align. Picking up from where they left off on First Take, the conversation shifted to Cam Whitmore, a name that continues to heat up in Lakers trade rumors. One of the analysts pointed to a recent tweet that summed up the growing buzz. Hope the Lakers can somehow add Cam Whitmore and give him some real burn off the bench. His athletic scoring abilities could be welcome. That sentiment echoed around the desk. The panel agreed. The Lakers clearly need more offensive firepower off their bench. It's been a common theme in discussions about this roster. The starters look solid, but once you hit the second unit, things start to look shaky. Re-signing Jackson Hayes helps a bit with the front court depth, but that move alone doesn't suddenly transform the bench into a scoring machine. That's where Cam Whitmore enters the picture. A reminder came from one of the commentators that J.J. Redick, now the Lakers head coach, actually said last season that both Reed Shepherd and Cam Whitmore could be rotation players on most NBA teams and even starters on several rosters. If Redick gets the chance to coach Whitmore, it would be a reunion he'd likely welcome. The analysts emphasized a key point. Houston simply has too many wings. With the recent addition of Kevin Durant and depth already at the small forward and wing positions, Whitmore's path to regular minutes in Houston is almost non-existent. A fresh start somewhere else, especially in a system that desperately needs what he offers, could benefit both sides. Now, would the Lakers be able to land him via a sign-and-trade involving Dorian Finney-Smith? Maybe. But as the conversation continued, the consensus was that even outside of that specific framework, the Lakers could explore other paths to bringing Whitmore in. They've been aggressive in trade talks, and whether it's Cam, a classic 3-and-D wing, or even someone through the buyout market, Los Angeles seems active on every front. Then came a deeper dive into Whitmore's numbers. Last season, his production dipped. 9 points per game while shooting 35% from beyond the arc. But the real issue was playing time. He averaged just 16 minutes per game. A guy with that level of athleticism and offensive ability needs more floor time, and the Rockets simply didn't give him that due to their playoff push and crowded rotation. And here's where it came full circle, something one analyst described as a potential redemption moment for Rob Pelinka. Back on draft night, the Lakers had a chance to select Whitmore. Instead, they opted for Jalen Hood-Schifino, a move that's aged poorly. Whitmore slipped and slipped, and now the Lakers might be trying to correct that mistake. To be clear, as they explained, Whitmore isn't the prototypical 3-and-D wing. His defense hasn't fully translated to the NBA level, and he fell in the draft largely due to concerns about his work ethic and consistency on that end of the floor. But if the Lakers land someone like DeAnthony Melton, a strong defender, then adding a guy like Whitmore for offense makes a lot of sense. The analysts then evaluated the Lakers' current depth chart, with Luka, Austin Reeves, LeBron, and DeAndre Ayton forming the core of the starting five. It's a powerful lineup, but the bench is still questionable. Gabe Vincent hasn't inspired much confidence. Dalton Knecht is still unproven. Jake LaRavia, however, is drawing intrigue. One voice on the show said they believe he could average 10 to 12 points per game efficiently. Outside of that, there's not much scoring depth. Can you count on Vincent, Knecht, and Vando to deliver meaningful points consistently? That's up in the air. The good news is that J.J. Redick has already shown he likes to stagger his rotation, keeping at least one starter on the floor with the bench unit. Austin Reeves, in particular, has been trusted to lead those lineups. Add Whitmore to that equation, and suddenly, the second unit feels more dynamic. As one host put it, you bring Cam Whitmore into that mix, and he instantly becomes the most electric offensive weapon on your bench. Period. Back on First Take, the energy ramped up as the panel dove into the potential upside of bringing Cam Whitmore to Los Angeles. One analyst summed it up best. If the Lakers actually give Whitmore a real opportunity, say 25 to 27 minutes a night, he could become one of the most explosive scorers off the bench in the league. That comment sparked even more excitement at the desk. Everyone agreed this would be a classic high-reward move. The Lakers wouldn't be taking on a massive risk, but the potential payoff could be huge. Add in someone like DeAnthony Melton to handle defensive responsibilities at the point of attack, and suddenly, this roster looks a lot more complete. The consensus was clear. Get a defender like Melton and a dynamic scorer like Whitmore, and the Lakers would significantly bolster their rotation. That combination could provide a much-needed boost in two of the team's biggest areas of need: perimeter defense and bench scoring. As the segment wrapped up, the hosts encouraged viewers to stay locked in. Trade season was heating up, and things were moving fast in LA. The DeAnthony Melton signing was described as imminent, and if the front office plays its cards right, Cam Whitmore could be right behind him. One of the final points raised was financial. The Lakers still have money to work with, and the message from the panel was simple: don't sit on it. Use it while you can. With two clear targets in mind and roster flexibility on their side, the Lakers are in position to act decisively. Before closing out the discussion, there was also a quick clarification brought up regarding Jackson Hayes. There had been some confusion online about him having a no-trade clause. The panel clarified, and credited Trevor Lane for pointing this out, that it's not a special clause written into Hayes' deal. It's a result of NBA rules that apply to one-year contracts for players with at least 3 years of service. In short, because of bird rights implications, players in that category must approve any trade. It's not unique to Hayes. It's standard across the league for players in his situation. And with that, the conversation closed with a final reminder to viewers. Let us know what you think. Should the Lakers make a serious push for Cam Whitmore? Do you think DeAnthony Melton is the missing piece? One host chuckled as he signed off, calling the audience absolute beasts for riding through another hectic round of Lakers madness.